Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. This is Tea Time with Jen. I am Jen.
And I'm Eugenio Padilla.
Or?
Eugenio Padilla.
George Jr.
The extreme. What was that?
What?
What was that name you said?
Junior.
I don't know this, Junior.
So, we are back for season...
I think 3.
Season 3. Is it episode 3?
Episode 3.
I think it's episode 3.
Raw, unfiltered.
Raw and unfiltered. We're not editing anything. We're kind of just giving our...
That's why you can see her so beautifully.
Anyway. I have my tea. I'm doing a lavender chamomile because it is nighttime right now. And we are... No, don't get me started. We are getting ready for bed. But I wanted to get on here and get this done since we were both home tonight. So we needed to... I want to be able to do these together. So tonight's topic...
Together. Forever.
Are you on drugs? He's not, but it was funny. Okay, so tonight's topic is agreeing to disagree agreeably.
I agree to disagree agreeably.
Right? So, there are so many things in life that we disagree with people on.
I disagree.
We can stop that. So there's so many things that we disagree on in life. Some of the key things are
Dogs, cats,
are parenting.
Yes, parenting.
Politics, religion, just overall what is success.
Homegrown, non-homegrown.
Right. There's all kinds of things in life that we can disagree on. And there are all kinds of places that we can choose to take offense at things, or be the cause of hurt in somebody else's life. Mm-hmm. And I think election years are a big one that you see that. Just pretty blatantly all over the place. But there are lots of other little ways, big ways that happens. And so this is one of those topics that I think is really important, that we're going to go back to the intentionality. And when you have a conviction, when we have a conviction, right, we have a choice on... Well, first of all, we have a choice whether or not we're going to act on that conviction or not. And I know that some of my convictions are not the same as my husband's convictions.
Yeah, you need to speak truth over it.
So, there are certain things I will not eat or drink, and this man loves some MSG in his pho.
Because it's the flavor.
So... I mean, everybody has different convictions. Everybody has different things. And the thing is that, and we say that jokingly, but that is a big one. Like when we go out to eat, if we're going to go out to eat and he wants pho, he'll ask me if I want to go with him or whatever, but he also doesn't mind that I don't eat it. And I don't mind that he eats it. That's his choice. And so, in reality, we know that. Sometimes we'll give each other crap because I actually don't like the smell of it. But it's funny. So, if one day I will make a healthy version of it for him and he will fall in love with it is my goal.
And you will eat it.
And I would eat that one because I know it won't have a bunch of crud in it. And what is tripe? Stomach lining?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, no.
You just gotta put it in your mouth and try it.
No. Okay.
What happened to the no thank you bites?
I'm not gonna do a no thank you bite on that.
Wow.
Back
you hear
on
this, Emily? She's not willing to try.
back on topic. It's really hot. So when we are faced with things and we have convictions, I think it's really important that we understand that we should not be forcing those convictions onto other people. Now, that doesn't mean you don't talk about it. And that doesn't mean that you can't have conversation and even some debate. Like, I think a healthy conversation with people, not in an echo chamber where you may not agree with them, but you're trying to understand their heart and where they're coming from and have empathy and be able to still connect even though you don't agree on all the points. I think that's a really important skill that is not necessarily taught anymore. It's something that we don't teach our kids. Well, I teach my kid, but a lot of people don't teach their kids because it's hard. It's messy. It changes depending on the situation and the person and all the things. But in reality, it doesn't change. The circumstances may change, the issues may change, the disagreements or the convictions may change. But the reality of you have a choice to follow your convictions, to realize that those convictions are your convictions alone, and then to release everyone else of the obligation of following something that you're choosing to follow because it's their choice not to. And that again goes to religion, that goes to politics, that goes to what food you're eating, it goes to how you're raising your kids. It goes into all kinds of different topics.
Yeah.
I think that the world would be a much better place if we could learn how to agree to disagree agreeably. Because it doesn't have to be the end of friendships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, every 4 years, there's a presidential election.
It's not just about politics, though.
No. Every 4 years, there's a presidential election. There's going to be issues. This year and last year, it seems like those things became more hot topics and more, I feel like more friendships around just overall. You see it on Facebook and Instagram. You don't see it on Facebook because you're not on Facebook. But you see it all on the social media platforms. You see the division. You see the hurt, the little quips, the different things. And people assume that just because you think differently doesn't mean that just because you think differently means you can't understand or empathize with where they are. And I think that's dangerous. I think that's dangerous when it comes to all different conversations. And I'm using that as an example because it's such a prevalent one that's currently actually going on right now all over the place. And I think it's important to learn how to have conversations with people that you do not agree with, to talk through things. You can be passionate, just don't be rude. You can be passionate, just don't force your opinion on somebody else. I mean, the conversation needs to be a conversation.
Yeah, but it also takes both parties to be able to do it.
Right, and I think that's one thing, like, even in marriage. I mean, having different convictions on what we eat, sometimes, most of the stuff you've jumped on board with. Slowly he has jumped on board with them. But even moving out here, and changing our lives and all the things, we were at different places at different times in this. We hit this we didn't all come to this at the same time, but we didn't act until we were both on the same page. Mm-hmm. But I didn't force anything on you, and you didn't force anything on me, right? You're just nodding, so it's like, yeah, I did, or no, I didn't. I don't know, just hanging here. So
the world may never know.
The world may never know. But I mean, we've had to do a lot of things, and I think that causes a healthy relationship to be able to communicate, to not agree, to understand the heart of each other, and for us to come to a compromise in a marriage. In friendships, I think a lot of times you're going to agree to disagree agreeably. In marriage, before you make a decision, I really think most of the time you need to have some sort of compromise or be on the same page. So I don't feel like it's always the same.
It's whatever God chooses.
Well, that's true.
And He tells me.
Okay.
That's why I go with it.
Okay. Sounds good.
We talk a lot.
That's good. So, I think for me with this, the one thing I really tried to teach my daughter in this, just be careful because I think your feet dragging is going to be very loud on camera. Just so you know. What I try to explain to my daughter is how does she feel, right, if somebody is, I don't want to say attacking, but disagreeing, but doing it in a hostile way. And how does that make her feel? And you can get defensive. You can have anger, being ashamed, hurt. You can feel isolation. There's all different, a whole host of different feelings that you can feel because of a disagreement that's not being handled well, where you're not disagreeing agreeably. And so now take that contrast and contrast it with when you're having a conversation and you're sitting down and you don't agree, but you are talking about why you feel the way you feel. What are the things that make you drive the way that you are, and not just saying you're a fool or something like that. Like when you're actually in a safe environment that is cultivating the room for growth and conversation and learning. I think that that's how you learn. I really think that that's how you learn so much more about life. It's important to not be in an echo chamber. Because if you're in an echo chamber, everything's always you're just around people who think like you and talk like you and believe like you. That's all you're going to know. And I think when you're raising children, I think there's a time for the echo chamber. And then getting them out of that echo chamber at a period of time. And that's going to be different for every family. And that's my opinion. You do you as a parent. But for me, there's a point for that echo chamber, right? I'm saying that because it's kind of like the safety zone, right? A lot of times there's a lot of people around you. Your core unit is hopefully going to have more unity. And so there's going to be a lot of familiarity. There's going to be things that most people are going to back you up as being the mom and so forth, or the dad. And, then there's a point where they have to start branching out and going into the unknown, right? And learning how to handle situations that you're not going to always agree with. Just working retail. I don't deal with it so much right this minute, but for many years working retail, you have customers who don't think like you because they don't have the knowledge that you have and how the system works. To them, the way a retail system works does not make any sense, and they get upset and they get frustrated, and it's an inconvenience, and there can be some lashing out. But if you understand that is what's going on, you can come at it not taking offense at what's being said, but in a way that is communicating effectively and trying to empathize with them. And so I think when you're in a situation And I would say right now, in the climate that we're in and a lot of the things that are going on, before you get into a discussion with somebody, or before you comment on a social media post, or before you just react to something you're reading, right? Or hearing from somebody, I challenge you to really look deep. And one, if you don't know the person and this has nothing to do with you, scroll by it. Just, there's no point. There's no point in engaging in it. If you want to have an honest discussion or something, then really check your heart, what your motivation is in the conversation, and then decide whether you're going to engage or not engage. We are so presented with text messages and scam phone calls and social media all over the place and TV things and ads, and there's so much going on right now that makes us feel like we have to be involved in everything.
Yeah, I think everything has its timing. I think before you act, get informed. Make sure you check or double check and make sure that whatever this person's saying is factual, and if it's not factual, then just let it go. Just scroll by, or just make a comment like, hey, just so you know, you should check your facts before.
Well, even with that, I think it's trying to figure out, because sometimes,
I feel like do your own research and try to figure it out.
Right. And I think knowing the heart of the person, because you can both be in a situation, we can both be in the same situation, hear the same conversation, and walk out of it feeling completely different ways.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, that's happened.
We come from two different backgrounds, and you just know what you know.
Right. Now I can say I have an idea now of how you may respond to certain things, and you have better idea now of how I might respond to things because we've been together for so long. But when you don't, and we put in the time and we put in the effort,
which is why you do your research, because you're putting time, because you care about this person,
and you're putting in the effort,
because you want to make sure. Well, you just care.
I mean, you think about it. At some point, everybody thought the Earth was flat. People started saying the Earth was round.
And then there was people who laughed at the people who thought that the world was round.
Right. And so there's going to be, and I say that because there's going to be sometimes that the disagreements or the conversation around it, I mean, sometimes there's going to be things that are going to push somebody that helped us grow, right? We know that the Earth is round. We know that the Earth is not flat. We know so much more now, hundreds of years later, than we did then, correct? And so each of us only know what we know. And having conversations with other people helps us grow our brains, helps us grow our expertise and our experience and how we deal with people. But it also gives us an opportunity, because we have a choice to spread love and kindness, or we have an opportunity to leave somebody feeling hostile, beat up, isolated, or alone. And I think any day that we should choose leaving somebody feeling love and kindness than leaving somebody feeling hostile, beat up, alone.
Yeah, I would rather leave somebody uplifted than beat up and
Right. And sometimes we're going to leave people that way without even realizing it. And this is going to take work. But that's why I say, like, if it's not something that pertains to you, move on. And just don't respond to it. Don't engage in it. There's no point. Facebook and Instagram and these other things make you want to be a part of everything. It's in your face. In reality, these people are posting on their timelines their thoughts. They're not coming to your time. Most of the time, they're not coming to your timeline and posting things. Some people may respond, but you have a choice how you respond back, right? And it takes somebody to start doing it correctly. And I post things that people don't agree with. I have posted things recently that actually hurt somebody's feelings, and I didn't mean to do that. And some things that I find funny or other people are not going to find funny, or vice versa. Some things people find funny, I'm like, this is not like funny at all. There's no humor in this. And so I have a choice though, and I started practicing this a few years ago. I have a choice if I'm offended or not. And so most of the time, it takes me a lot to actually get offended. Now, I can get my feelings hurt, or that has happened, but more recently. But most of the time, I'm choosing not to be offended. I hear the initial, I feel the initial, right? Like, oop. Like, my thorns want to come out. I want to protect myself. And then I go, nope, I know the heart of this person, or I think I know the heart of this person. I don't think this is what they mean. I don't think this is what is going on. Let me, like, figure this out. Or I just am going to roll on, and I don't know this person, and I'm not letting what they say have power over me. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Did I lose you?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys.
It's a lot of spirals.
It is. It is a lot of spirals. So I think my encouragement to you, and tonight's, or this morning, you're going to see this on whenever you watch this. I don't know if it's night or morning when you're watching this. But when you watch this, my encouragement to you is to assess your conversations, whether verbally or written, and decide, do you have a place there or do you not? What is the heart behind it? Other one, is it going to do any good? And then, are you going to leave this conversation making the other person feel love and kindness? Or are you going to leave the conversation having them feel hostile, hurt, and alone? And when you are approaching any conversation, put it through those check marks.
Yep.
And try to figure that out.
Be kind.
And doing that actually will help you assess what you know about your friends. Because some are friends and some are friends, right? And it's going to help you know, okay, this is where I need to put more work in to get to know somebody, or however it works out. But most of the time, it lets you know where your status is, and it shows you not by their response, but how your heart is responding to them, if that makes sense. Like, I know we've talked about this on previous videos. He does Spanglish sometimes. And sometimes words get mixed up.
Spanglish. And
so he'll say something, and I'm like, I don't think you mean what you are saying. I don't think you mean what you just said. So what are you meaning to say? Like, and break it down, right? Because I know the heart of my husband. I know he's not going to say something that's going to hurt my feelings. But sometimes
I can say things and you just blah. And she hears us as a blah. And then she's like, did you mean this as blah? And I'm like, no, I didn't mean it like that. And it's just how I say things, apparently.
But, and I could say things that come out a certain way.
But the biggest thing is she's taking the time to try to understand what I'm saying.
Right, and we have a thing where we communicate.
We communicate, we talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when things get cleared, and I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm sorry.
I love you. So, I hope that it gives you some food for thought. I mean, this topic is not very, it's not a hard one. It's hard to implement sometimes, especially if you're not in the practice of it.
Yeah.
But once you get in the routine of going through that checklist, it actually helps a lot and it becomes second nature.
Yeah. Communication. Sometimes patience and understanding.
Empathy.
Empathy.
Putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Trying to, anyway.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard. So, okay, I hope this encourages you. And I would love to know if you have any comments or thoughts or any further questions on this subject. If you have areas where you find this extremely difficult, or if you have areas where you find this extremely easy, what things make it easier for you and what things make it harder. I feel like knowing the person and their heart makes it easier.
Yeah.
When you're in that conversation, and if it's a stranger, sometimes that can be harder. But I mean, if you start practicing it and you teach your kids to start practicing it and think of that ripple effect of leaving love and kindness versus hurt and hostility and loneliness. Yeah. I think we can make a big impact on the world by doing that. So that's what we have. Until the next time, I'm going to go drink my tea and curl up and maybe put on a movie. We'll see. Fall asleep. We're tired. We both have to work early tomorrow. So we thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next video.
Bye. Take care.